Hello, friends, and welcome back to Our Daddy's a Donor. We're your hosts, Carly.
And Riley.
And you might have heard a different sound today than you heard last time, and that's because we officially have our intro/outro. We're super excited. We had this custom made by my dear friend, Conan Doyle. So please go follow him on social media at Conan Doyle, Doyle, and his friend, Infinite Replay. They helped us out, custom made this for us, and we are very excited and just love them so much for all their help. So we will tag them in all the things. And if you don't go follow them, we'll be really sad and cry. So please go do that.
Do it.
Additionally, we've had a crazy week, and our brains are mush. And that's because most of you might know that we were in an article for CBC, aka Canadian News, and it kind of blew up our lives.
A little bit, yeah.
So we've done how many radio shows now because of it? I don't know, 4?
4, yeah.
And
I think there was
TV.
like 4 interviews total.
Yeah, so there's been articles everywhere. If you search our names, you'll probably find it. We'll try to link the first one. But it's been a lot, and there may be some other things coming up with that, but maybe we won't announce them yet. I don't want to jinx it, but it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
You made me get goosebumps when you did
that. So bear with us. Our brains are mush, and yeah, we're just a bit of a nervous wreck, but it's great.
Yeah.
Additionally, anybody tuning into YouTube will see my lovely daddy hat. You're welcome.
Love it.
I did not get this for the podcast, but I feel like it suits it, and Riley will hopefully get one soon.
Yes,
if anybody wants to
match.
send her one, that'd be great as well.
Yeah, send me a daddy hat. Ooh, get me a pink one.
They're from Urban Outfitters. Anyone wants to send some merch to her. I don't know if they have pink ones, but maybe someone will make you one. I don't know.
Ooh, we love
Maybe
a
we have
handmade
some
gift.
like fun followers. But any other updates?
I don't know. Being on the news was a little spooky.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like not controlling what's coming out. At least here we kind of have our own space. But
It was good.
And then how many days until you visit me?
20. We're
20
doing the
whole
countdown
days.
now. 20 whole days.
Yeah. And then we have one more exciting thing. We have a guest coming on next episode. Our first guest.
Yeah.
So she will be on to tell her story and just chat with us and have a grand old time.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should we be sharing any more things about us? Maybe we can answer a question first and then get into our stories.
Fun. Should I pull up a question from my Snapchat?
Yes,
people?
let's pull up a question.
Okay, let's see. Well, I don't know if this was answered in the last podcast or not.
That's okay, just read it, and then if it is, we can just cut it.
Okay, so someone asked, have you met your biological father? If not, do you plan on it?
I think we did answer that. We did talk about it, but regardless.
We talked about it?
Yes, and it might be filmed. It will definitely be filmed by us, I would say. Maybe just like my GoPro or something. I don't know. However, it might be additionally filmed on top of that. So we will see. However, we would love to take you guys along with us for that. And also, he will probably be on an episode in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And probably lots of pictures on our socials.
Yeah, we'll make sure to take lots of photos so you can follow us. Where can they find you?
Hey, it's Riley Hall on all the things.
And I am a little bit harder to find. I used to be a flight attendant, so I will never give up that handle. But I'm that_jet-setting_girl on Instagram and TikTok. That's all I want you to follow me on. Don't follow me anywhere else because I won't add you.
Don't follow me anywhere else. We can just put like links and stuff in the YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's easier.
Yeah. But we'll be posting lots on there and obviously, of course, on the podcast. But I'm usually a little bit more active on my personal stuff. So And I guess your Snapchat is public, right? So they can follow you on that. You're like a public figure on there, so they can follow you there. Same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I try to post a lot on Snapchat on the board.
I'm not as
bug me.
Yeah, I'm not as famous as you yet, so I don't post my everyday life. And then was there another question that we can answer?
Yeah, let's find one. Okay. It says, do you two wonder if you were sperm donor babies before you found each other?
I did not wonder that.
I did not either. I had a little different thing because my mom had told me, but before she told me, I always knew something was a little off, and my best friend will know this. I had talked to her years before, and I always felt that something was a little off, but I never really questioned it because how can you just ask your mom or your dad hey, is my dad my dad?
Yeah, or hey, am I adopted?
Right? Well, I did ask that, but then I was because I did, but I had seen pictures of my mom when she was pregnant, but then I was maybe that wasn't me.
Just
maybe it was a cover up. I don't know.
That's true. That would be weird. That's some great lengths to go to pretend you're pregnant. And actually, I was reading our ancestry messages the other day, and I actually said to you my first message was I was an accident. And I don't know what made me think that. Isn't that so funny? My mom was no, we wanted you, it was the opposite of an accident. We tried so hard to have you. So it's so funny. Because my mom was 33, so I was just I'm an accident. But I wasn't. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, I told you that right away. I was yeah, it was an accident. So
I always ask people. I was Mom, was I an accident? When I was younger, she's no, you were planned. But we were really planned.
Yeah, I don't think I ever asked. I think I just assumed, which is probably not the best. But I don't know. Whatever. Do we have any more questions, or do you want to move on?
I have another one.
Okay, we can answer one more.
Yeah,
one more.
This one's a little weird. Okay. This is another question. What if you find out you were a sperm donor baby and the donor was a serial killer / mass murderer? Does it bother you?
Oh my god. Well, thankfully we don't have to wonder that. Unless maybe he is a murderer. We don't know. Just kidding. We don't know. He'll be listening to this and be you guys are ridiculous. But I think it would be a whole different scenario. I would be very upset. But I think they do a little bit of a background check before.
I think they had told my mom they do a good background check and they don't have just some Joe Schmo off the street come in.
I mean, however, you could pass a background check and then become a murderer after. You never know.
That's true.
So yeah, if that had happened, I feel there would be a lot of psychological damage. And we would be in a lot of therapy, I would say, because that would be a lot. And then we might be do I have murderous tendencies?
That's genetic, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
I thought serial killer or something like that was genetic.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure we would probably dive deep into some research if that were the case. But thankfully, as far as we know, he's not a murderer.
I don't think so.
And hopefully we're not going to be lured in and murdered. But if you don't hear from us, we might have been murdered. I'm not going to joke about that anymore.
He's going to hear this and be girls.
Yeah, he's going to be and now you don't feel safe to come visit me and your parents are not going to let you come. Good job.
I know. So, good job. Look what you've done.
Yeah, look what you did. But thank you so much for the questions. Keep them coming. I love interacting with people. So maybe we'll post on our, now that we have a little bit of a following on Instagram, maybe we'll post directly to there and see. But yeah, do you want to get into our stories? We have 2 today.
Yes, let's do it.
Awesome. So our 2 stories today are from Reddit again, and they are all based around kind of my experience, not knowing you're a donor baby, but they're not the same. So I haven't read both of them completely because I like that we get to experience them together as a group with our listeners.
I love that.
Yeah, so we'll get into it. This one's called Shocked by Results. I'm a sperm donor baby. I'm joking. I'm going to try to read slower this time too, because I feel like I was rushing a little bit last time.
Oh, okay.
So stop me if I get too crazy. All right. So I recently did 23andMe after noticing my mom was unable to answer a lot of questions about my conception. I have known since I was a teenager that I was a test tube baby in the late 80s, when the field was still fairly new. I began to wonder more after my cousin recently asked my mom several questions about the process in front of other family members. She became uncomfortable and dodgy. My cousin and I agreed her reaction was strange. In the same conversation, we learned many women in our family seemed to be predisposed to early heart disease, high cholesterol, and cancer. This made me want to find out if I was at risk. Decided to take the test and even told my parents I was taking it. Upon receiving my results, I first noticed that the ancestry seemed off. I am very familiar with family history on both sides, and my family is German and Scandinavian. My 23andMe ancestry read primarily British and Irish, which I need to point something out about that afterwards, so remind me. Okay. Then when I opened the DNA relatives portion, I was shocked and upset to see a result that read father with the name of a man I had never heard of. I actually called the 23andMe 800 number to confirm that there was no way this result could be wrong. After wrestling with this info for a day, I decided to confront my parents. They also were shocked and upset, but were eventually able to explain. They had tried for 7 years to have me first naturally and then with IVF. After disappointing IVF failures, they decided to combine my father's sperm with donor sperm and leave it up to chance. They went through a very reputable group of doctors and chose a donor with similar physical traits to my dad, plus a clean bill of physical health, high IQ, etc. My mom was somehow under the impression that no matter what, this would be my dad's child. Brackets, I think she thought the sperms would magically combine into one super sperm. I don't know. My dad had a better grasp of reality, but said he dealt with it emotionally at the time and then decided to never think about it again. After I was born, he decided I was 100% his and there was no reason to believe or question otherwise. This group of doctors assured my parents everything would be kept secret. Since the physical traits were similar, no one would know one way or the other, not my parents, me, or anyone else. My parents told absolutely no one, not even their family. Never in a million years did they imagine DNA technology would advance this far. They never expected to be confronted with this possible truth. They were never going to tell me. My mom was upset that the sperm donor, my bio-father, breached this contract of secrecy. After doing more research, she realized that 30 years later, the sperm bank company they went through had dissolved and no one could do much about these technological advancements anyways. Although my bio-father can now view me as a connection on 23andMe, it doesn't appear he has seen it yet. I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm not interested in any additional family. Oh my gosh. I'm not interested in an additional family, although from light social media stalking, it does seem I have a lot in common with his family. It actually explains a ton of my characteristics and why I've always felt like a black sheep in my conservative Midwestern family. My relationship with my parents has become very good in adulthood, and I have kids of my own. I don't want to jeopardize what I have in my life by complicating things, but I am curious about my bio family, especially half siblings. And that's it.
Whoa, I like that one.
Yeah, I didn't realize I would connect with that one so much. Like a lot of what they were saying. Yeah. And you said too, like black sheep of the family.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. And I noticed another one when she said that it was kind of like a mix of like the sperm donor and her dad. So that's funny. Yeah. My mom did that too, because when so they went in and they used like a turkey baster and they just like,
shoved it up there.
And then my mom said that her and my dad would go home and just like,
do the deed.
So then it was like, that was my dad's. Oh,
that's so funny.
They hoped it would like morph together into one like super baby, probably.
Yeah. So, okay, the part I wanted to talk about was the, when they got their results and it seemed off. So I remember when I did it, I obviously didn't know I was a sperm donor baby yet. So my dad is like, was very like, I don't know if this is the right term, but like patriotically Irish. And so is my older brother. My older brother even has like an Irish tattoo, and his son has an Irish name, and like their whole, they decorate the house like it's Christmas for them. And so when I got the DNA results back, I was like 4% Irish. So I was like, okay, we're not even that Irish. And my last name is like Irish. So I went up to him and I was like, hey, we're not that Irish. And like, obviously I didn't know yet that we weren't blood related. And he's like, yes, we are.
Oh, you told your older brother
Yeah,
that?
I went up to him and I was joking around like, oh, we're not even that Irish. You know that, right? And he was like, yeah, your DNA must be wrong because we are. And I was like, I don't know. Like it says 4%. And then Ancestry DNA updates sometimes, like when it gets more and more DNA in. So then it went down to like 0.5% Irish. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And it's so funny because when my mom and dad went to pick the donor, all they cared about was that he kind of looked like my dad and that he was Irish, because my dad was like, I want her to be Irish. And it's so funny, they didn't get that. They got someone that kind of looked like him, but they didn't get anyone that was Irish. So it's funny. I literally felt the same way. I was like, what the hell is going on here? And then the other thing that was funny was this person, OP, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, they took the test and told their parents that they were taking it, told his parents that he was taking it. I'm just going to say he because it's easier. And they still didn't say anything. Like, and I guess maybe they didn't know that that's what was going to happen, because like you don't realize that it's connecting you to people. But they still didn't say anything. You think they would? It's pretty crazy.
Maybe they kind of forgot about it, or they were just so in their head, like, this is my kid.
And they did say that, like, they thought it was going to be some, like, super sperm mixture. So maybe they're like, well, it is still ours. So,
that's true. That's kind of what my parents did, too.
Yeah. So, top comment here. And this was just like this wasn't, usually we did, like, am I the asshole ones or whatever. This one's just, like, Reddit genealogy. So there's not, like, they're not looking for anything. They're just telling a story. So top comment on this one, I'll just read this and then OP replies to it. So top comment is, the dad you have now is your real dad. There really isn't anyone to blame. The agency couldn't guarantee what would happen in the future, and even if your bio dad didn't put his DNA in a database, other relatives could, which would lead back to him anyway, which is what happened with us. The choice to connect or not with your bio family is totally up to you. It might be an interesting and fascinating thing to do for general knowledge, but no matter who you meet up with, your mom and dad will always be your mom and dad. Also, you are far from the only person that has happened to. Every year, thousands of people get shocking DNA news from these new tests. You should have seen this board after the Christmas DNA test sale results came in mid-January. Yikes. I think with DNA tests so easily available, what you have experienced is kind of a new normal. Best of luck with whatever you decide to do. And I mean, how many people have reached out? I remember when we've done like all these radio shows, every time they're like, oh, we had people reach out, oh, we had more people reach out, like, and that's just in Canada, right? Like, because
that's not even over here.
Oh my gosh, once they pick it up, I think it's going to be like a whole other thing. So
if you guys forgot, Carly is in Canada and I am in Minnesota, so we are kind of far apart. And the news is what's happening in Canada right now, but I told her, I was like, it's going to slow down in Canada and then watch, it's going to ramp up in either Minnesota or just the United States in general.
It's going to be a lot, but
get ready.
But yeah, anything else you want to share or say about that story? I don't know, is it good, but like I resonated.
I like that one.
I resonated with that one.
I think we both did. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Okie dokie. So our second story is a little bit longer, but that's okay. I'm just pulling it up.
And Carly's reading the stories because I have a weird thing. Okay, I don't know if you guys ever did this in school where they had to like go around and each person would read like a paragraph. I always counted the people and then figured out. Did you? Okay, well you're doing a better job at reading than I could. I'd be over here like like, which is, stuttering is fine. I'm not making fun of stuttering, but it would just be like a whole mess of things I don't want to deal with.
I also just I'm used to like, I think, presenting a little bit more now that I'm in the position I'm in, and I like work a lot of customer service jobs, so I probably just like, my brain is a little bit more prepared, but we'll get you there. You can read like the smaller Q&A ones where you can just read like small comments, and then you can start reading the big stories. And if anybody hates my voice, screw you.
Yeah, be nice.
So this one is actually on the subreddit 23andMe. So it was a story shared like directly to there. But then it's also, the category is like family problems / discovery. So this one I also haven't read the whole thing because I'm lazy and I'd rather just read it with you. So we'll get into this one. The title is, so as a biologist, I'm now questioning how much DNA can really influence our future decisions. After discovering I'm a sperm donor baby via 23andMe and discovering some interesting coincidences with the donor. Okay, so here we go.
Ooh.
Okay, we start again.
Cut it out.
Cha-cha.
Okay.
Last year I did a DNA kit. At the time, my mom said I could be opening up a can of worms, and I just thought it was because she had been the product of an affair. Side note, they spelt mum, M-U-M, so I think they're from the UK, which makes it 10 times better for me.
You have to talk in the accent
if we ever get any UK listeners, they'll be like, what the hell is this girl doing?
I know.
Oh my
That'd
God.
be so funny.
Anyways, at the time, my mom said I could be opening up a can of worms, and I just thought it was because she had been the product of an affair. Her mother didn't know he was already married, and some random half-siblings of hers may match with me, leading to an awkward conversation with their father. Cue me getting a message a couple weeks ago from someone who matched as an aunt. So I explained she was probably my half-aunt, only for her to come back and explain how that is impossible. Names, dates, ages don't match up. She mentioned she has a brother, but he has no naturally conceived kids. Yes, it was a hint. Now, my parents have an amazing relationship, met and married young, still together, and still very much in love, so option 1. Mom cheated on my dad, seemed unlikely, or there was an option 2. My parents had even more trouble conceiving me than they had told me. I know I wasn't adopted, as my whole family have told me stories of my mother's horrendous births with my brother and I. Well, as you know from the title, I asked my parents and they confessed they had used a sperm donor at a private clinic. Back in the 80s, all anonymous, donor was matched my father's physical traits and answers to a questionnaire they filled out. They never knew who he was or what he did. Birth certificate shows my dad as the father, hence I never knew. We had a good old heart-to-heart, by the way, and I told them my dad is the one who raised me. He is an amazing father, and I never even suspected he wasn't biologically related. I don't really care to meet the donor. Which kind of was me at first. So
yeah, I just wanted a picture.
So I go back and tell this lady she really is my aunt and briefly explain how she admits she knew her brother was a sperm donor but didn't expect to ever match with any of his issue. It was unlikely enough we both ended up using the exact same DNA testing service to begin with. Anyway, on to the really weird coincidence. She sent me his name and a couple of bits of info so I could Google him, and I was curious. Firstly, the clinic got it spot on. Donor dad looks so close to real dad, it's uncanny, so physical aspects wouldn't have been different. However, neither of my parents were scientists, and donor dad is. Oh. Then I spot something that is actually the weirdest part of this whole thing for me. His LinkedIn profile shows he attended one of the top unis in the UK. Haha, I was right. Around the time I was conceived before immigrating. 18 years later, not only did I end up attending the same university after viewing at least 10 across England, getting offers on all my top choices, and ultimately having to decide between my top 2 after weeks of struggling with an actual pro-con list I wrote out, I apparently chose the exact same university donor dad went to. I confirmed it with my new aunt, still messaging through DNA testing website. Donor dad was studying at that university when he deposited what would eventually be me into a cup, and not only that, but we studied similar degrees, bio versus biochem. Although we ended up in wildly different fields, we both have had scientific careers. I guess in this nature versus nurture, nature won. Neither of my parents went to university or are in scientific jobs. My mom claims she enjoyed biology at school but was never able to pursue it as a career. My father, non-bio, worked as a builder and taught me a lot about how to fix stuff, but is not book smart. Thanks to him, however, I can fix minor electrical issues, hang shelves, paintings, redecorate competently, etc., and never once was told these were male jobs. This must be a female. I have a brother who, due to my donor immigrating, had to come from a different donor, so technically that makes him my half-brother. He didn't know and probably wouldn't take it well, so my parents initially asked me not to say anything. No one else knows in my family, as my parents apparently kept it quiet. Thankfully, a week later, my parents realized it was unfair to keep my brother out of the loop, and they told him. He actually approached it much like me. He loves our dad and how well he raised us, and he isn't interested in finding out who his donor is, so won't take an ancestry test. He actually specifically told me not to tell him if I had any worrying genetic variants when I first took the tests last year, as he would rather not know and worry. Obviously, before we discovered we only shared DNA from our mom. I think his donor may have been someone from a similar background to mine, as he went to uni to do computer science, ran his own business, etc., so more like me than our parents' background. I'm actually more interested in finding out if I have any half-siblings, so I've just sent off an Ancestry DNA kit to gain access to their database, so I think Ancestry and 23andMe are the most popular UK-based ones. I'm not expecting I may find a match straight away. I was on 23andMe a whole year before my aunt and the bombshell. If I do get a sibling match in the future, I'm not sure how to approach it. Certainly won't be sharing who the donor was without expressing permission from him through his sister. I've sort of hoped they already know they were from a donor, as it was a bit of a shock for me to find out how I did through my aunt. Though my aunt was very careful to nudge me in the right direction without coming right out and telling me, so I could ask my parents and hear it from them first. I worked in a university research department looking for genetic mutations that cause a family to have a really rare disease. I extracted DNA from blood samples and spent hours on end looking at specific genes for coding differences between affected and unaffected members of the same family, so I understand more than most about genetic inheritance. I know genes can't make you choose a particular university or career, but it's certainly one hell of a coincidence. And that's it.
Whoa.
Lot to unpack here. Another one that weird. I kind of like resonate with, I would say. Let me see here. This one, of course, obviously isn't really asking for advice, just, sharing. But let me see.
So if they had different donors, why didn't the mom match? Like, with the brother, with the sister, why didn't they have like the same?
Oh, they said donor? Because
they have different ones?
Donor, basically they gave their donation and then they emigrated, so they didn't have a lot of like specimen. So by the time the parents went back, there wasn't any left, so they had to use a different donor for the second kid. Otherwise, they would have.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, let me see. But this person's the same. Sorry,
I wonder if the brother and sister look alike then, if they kind of matched.
From the sounds of it
that way,
I think they do, and then they have a lot of the same like what's the word I want? I can't remember what I'm trying to say. They have like the same interests and hobbies and stuff, it sounds like, which is pretty weird. It's funny though.
That could also just be like them growing up together too.
It's funny though because where is it? Oh, they basically did the same thing as you, like did a second test just to see if they have any more siblings / like find more people, and like you did that as well to see if we could maybe find the donor, and it was the same thing. Like they found the donor through a relative. It wasn't even the donor right? So that's kind of funny. It's weird. I mean, that's bound to happen. Like you never know. I mean, they connected with an aunt. We connected with an uncle. So, and a cousin.
I mean, we could have tracked them down. If we, like, really would have gone FBI, we probably could have. Through, like, relatives. It would have taken a while.
So, there's a couple comments that I'll just read. This one says, I know genes can't make you choose a particular university or career, but it's certainly one hell of a coincidence. You might be shocked if you look at the results of all the twins / siblings / adoption studies that have concluded over the last few decades. It's not politically correct. People are really attached to blank slate ideology, but DNA has a shockingly huge impact on both very general, example, intelligence, and very specific, example, career field, political beliefs, traits. We're talking anywhere from 30 to 80% of observed variance in the reference population. And then I'll just read the comment from the OP. I do remember reading about some twins separated at birth a long time ago who had crazy similarities when they were eventually reunited. Same haircut, etc., but haven't had the opportunity to look into studies of the subject, mainly as until this point it didn't interest me and wasn't relevant to my field. I will certainly have to read have to read now. Obviously, twins share more DNA than a father/daughter match, so the results would be more striking. But still, I ended up being quite heavily influenced by the donor's genes, by the looks of things. I apparently also got normal stuff like hair color from him. My parents could never explain why I was blonde as a young child, darkening to a brunette when both of them were dark from birth. Turns out, according to Aunt, as she wanted to see a picture of me, although donor dad had dark hair like my father in later life, so matched the traits requested. As a child, he too had blonde curly hair. It's a shame in the 80s they didn't keep better records, and there was no requirement to keep records, unlike from 1991 onwards. As medical history data is lost to my half-brother, I don't even think they took that detailed data back then compared to now. I was lucky I didn't end up marrying a half-sibling. My husband refuses to take an ancestry kit. Even before what I found, I thought my family was so boring and normal, it never occurred to me there might be secrets, but we're pretty certain his parents had no issues conceiving, and thankfully we know his father is definitely not mine. Although, talking of weird coincidences, father-in-law went to the same uni a few years earlier than my donor, though. Still a tiny bit annoyed at my parents for not mentioning this before I got married and had kids. I have no idea if there were even rules in the 80s about how many live births there were allowed to be from one donor like there are now. I do know the sperm had to be fresh, as the procedure wasn't in vitro, so donors would more likely have resided near the clinic in London, England. That's another thing. Like, we're still learning the similarities that we have with us, and then like with donor dad. I don't know if we mentioned this. I feel like I mentioned it possibly on a radio edit, but like, so we've been asked what similarities we have with donor dad. And like, when I was a kid starting piano, my mom used to say all the time, I don't know where you get this musical ability because no one in our family has it. And I just was like, oh, maybe somebody on my dad's side does it, because I didn't talk to a lot of my dad's side. Like, they were a lot older than me, my cousins, so I just never really bonded with them that closely. But like, now we know basically donor dad's full side. Like, that's the first thing they said, right? Was like, oh, do you have any musical abilities? So it's a very prominent thing in their life.
Was that the brother who said that?
No, it was the cousin, I think,
that cousin who said that, right? Yeah. A lot of musical ability happening over there.
Yeah, so just that, like, that's definitely like a nature versus nurture thing. Like, nature won out on that one because we both have that. And I don't know, it'd be cool to see. I know, it'll be cool to see what other similarities we have. I think I have his nose. I don't think you do, but I think I do. Just like,
I think I have the
part of my nose.
Yeah.
I'm pointing, but obviously
for the audio listeners, you
the
have
tip
no
of my
clue
nose.
What Carly's pointing at.
The tip of my nose. Once he comes on, you'll be able to see. We're not going to share anything yet, but
from like pictures, I think I have his face shape where it goes like down and then like here and then like a chin,
like a regular.
I don't know.
The way you explained it, people are like, "Yeah, you have a chin. Good job."
No, I mean like how it's like just straight here.
No,
like my friend has like a round face. Now she's gonna be like, my face isn't round, you know.
No, I get it. I think I might have the same too, but I'm a little bit more chubby cheeked than you.
Oh my gosh, did you see my baby pictures? My cheeks are huge.
Yeah, me too. We should compare all three of our baby pics.
Ooh, it's so funny because the picture that he sent us like a few days ago kind of looks like my dad when my dad was younger.
Really?
Like,
I don't know if I
have
have any
super
pics.
dark hair.
I honestly don't know if I have any pics of my dad when he was a kid. Maybe my aunt would have some.
Maybe.
I should
That'd
see.
be cool to see.
Yeah.
Oh, my cat is here. If you guys hear some random meowing, that would be my cat.
That one was loud.
She is right here. She is right here. For the viewers on the YouTube, I'm going to grab her and you'll be able to see her. Just speedy quick. There's her head. She's leaving
baby.
Now. Oh, well,
now they have to turn into YouTube to see her.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to show my babies sometime, but they're just... I can't have them in here the whole time or I'll die. They're too much.
Well, my door is shut, but she seemed to have pushed it open, so... She's on my laps, so if you hear purring, it's not me.
You know what the other thing is? I don't know what color his hair is, because it's gray now. Right? Donor dad. Is it gray?
It was dark.
Oh my god, cut that out. I don't want him to hear me say that. I'm going to go find a picture real quick.
No, wait, no,
I'm sorry.
It's dark. It's dark.
Sorry. I'm picturing, like, I feel like because it's so crazy, he definitely has some gray in it. I swear he's got some gray in it. Let me find a photo.
Well, he just turned 60.
Happy birthday
to you.
Yeah, I feel, no, you know what, it's like, it's really dark, but there's gray, so it could be like a dark smoky gray, or he could have like really, really dark hair.
Mm-hmm. He has a lot of hair from his younger pictures.
I think I have the same eye shape too. It's like slanted down, kind of. Yeah, like down this way. I have hooded eyes, so.
I'm unsure.
I'm unsure about my face.
That was fun.
I know. I agree.
I like that one.
Follow us on Instagram and let us know if you have any questions. We'll post a Instagram, or maybe a couple Instagram story, fill in the blank question mark thingies. And if you have any stories that you want us to share, anonymously or not anonymously, whatever you want, we can credit you. Send it to our email, and we'd love to read them and give our take and tell you how we resonate with them and how they make us feel and all the fun things. Our email is ourdaddysadonor@gmail.com. No apostrophe or anything. It's just ourdaddysadonor@gmail.com. You know, it's a little long.
Yeah.
But whatever. And, yeah.
Thanks for listening.
And next week we'll have and next week we'll have a guest. We're super excited. Crazy. And then the week after that we have one more episode, and then you're here. I think already. I think that's right. Yeah. And then we'll be in person.
Coming back to the old Canada.
And if you have anything else we want to cover, like, I don't know, we can do some genetics research or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Oh, we should share like our ancestry stuff, like our matches, and I can do not the matches, but like our
background.
Yeah, and then I can do like the 23andMe. It's pretty much the same, but
okay. Yeah, we'll share it. Not the next one, but the one after, because the next one we have our guest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think,
that sounds fun.
Yeah. We're so excited. We're so excited to just have another person on here. A little nervous.
That one's probably going to be like a little lengthier. It could be closer to an hour. And if you want to comment somewhere, do you want like longer podcasts or shorter podcasts?
Yeah, do you need more content? We can add an extra story. This one went a little bit longer, I would say. So, yeah. But I think that's everything. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure, again, you check out my beloved friend, Conan Doyle. We will tag him.
He's the best.
He rocks. If you want him to come on and rap, he's a rap god.
Yeah, get him
honestly,
on.
We could just have a show where he raps, so...
we could insert like a little clip.
No, I want him to come to my house and he can just like rap and then then leave.
Let's do that.
He has a studio at his house, so he could jump in.
Oh,
we'll see.
Yeah, let's do that.
But yeah, check us out, and go to YouTube for more contact and to see my hat and my super sick Arkell shirt.
Carly looks like a race car driver right now.
No, I look like pit crew, and I love it.
That's true. Yeah.
Give us any requests of what you want us to wear. Not weird shit, though. Don't be weird.
Yeah.
I have a pickle costume. I could wear a pickle costume next time.
I have a cowboy hat that lights up.
We'll have fun with it.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much. Again, we love you. Who do we want to shout out this time? We shouted out Jay Leno last time. Do you want to shout out one of your friends?
Ooh, my bestie girl, my home skillet.
Shout out to you, B.
Yeah.
I won't say her full name. Shout out to you, B.
Yeah, I used to call her home skillet biscuit until I realized biscuit does not rhyme with skillet.
I hope that didn't take you too long to figure out, but that's okay.
It did.
That's okay.
But we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, thanks so much.
Bye.